David Copperfield is an American illusionist, and has been described by Forbes as the most commercially successful magician in history. Copperfield's television specials have won 21 Emmy Awards of a total 38 nominations. Best known for his combination of storytelling and illusion, Copperfield's career of over 40 years has earned him 11 Guinness World Records, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a knighthood by the French government, and he has been named a living legend by the U.S. Library of Congress. Copperfield has so far sold 40 million tickets and grossed over $4 billion, which is more than any other solo entertainer in history. In 2015, Forbes listed his earnings at $63 million for the previous 12 months, and ranked him the 20th highest-earning celebrity in the world. When not performing, he manages his chain of 11 islands in the Bahamas, recalled by him, Musha Cay, and the islands of Copperfield Bay, which has completed a $35 million renovation under Copperfield's supervision. Early years. Copperfield was born David Seth Kotkin in Metuchen, New Jersey, the son of Jewish parents, Rebecca, an insurance adjuster, and Hyman Kotkin, who owned and operated a men's haberdashery in Metuchen called Corby's. Copperfield's mother was born in Jerusalem, while his paternal grandparents were Jewish immigrants from USSR. In 1974, Copperfield graduated from Metuchen High School. When Copperfield was 10, he began practicing magic as Davino the boy magician in his neighborhood, and at the age of 12, became the youngest person admitted to the Society of American Magicians. Shy and a loner, the young Copperfield saw magic as a way of fitting in and, later, as a way to get girls. Copperfield attended day camp at Camp Harmony in nearby Warren, New Jersey, as a child, where he began practicing magic and ventriloquy, an experience to which he credits his creative style. At Camp Harmony, we spent 2 weeks searching for a guide who'd been kidnapped by Indians. It was just a game, but I was living it. My whole life goes back to that camp experience when I was 3 or 4. As a teenager, Copperfield became fascinated with Broadway and frequently sneaked into shows, especially musicals featuring the work of Stephen Sondheim or Bob Fosse. By age 16, he was teaching a course in magic at New York University. Career and business interests. At age 18, Copperfield enrolled at New York City's Jesuit-based school Fordham University. However, 3 weeks into his freshman year he left Fordham to play the lead role of the musical The Magic Man in Chicago. It was for this occasion that he adopted the stage name, David Copperfield, taken from the famous Charles Dickens novel because he liked the sound of it. Copperfield sang, danced and created most of the original illusions used in the show. The Magic Man became the longest-running musical in Chicago's history. At age 19, he was headlining at the Pagoda Hotel in Honolulu, Hawaii for several months. Copperfield's career in television began in earnest when he was discovered by Joseph Cates, a producer of Broadway shows and television specials. Cates produced a magic special in 1977 for ABC called The Magic of ABC, hosted by Copperfield, as well as several of The Magic of David Copperfield specials on CBS between 1978 and 2001. There have been 17 Copperfield TV specials and 2 documentaries between September 7, 1977 and April 3, 2001. Copperfield also played the character of the magician in the 1980s horror film Terror Train in an uncredited appearance in the 1994's film Pret-a-Porter. Most of his media appearances have been through television specials and guest spots on television programs. His illusions have included the disappearance of a 7-ton Learjet, the vanishing and reappearance of the Statue of Liberty, levitating over the Grand Canyon, walking through the Great Wall of China, escaping from Alcatraz prison, the disappearance of a 70-ton Orient Express dining car and flying on stage for several minutes. One of his most famous illusions occurred on television on April 8, 1983. A live audience of 20 tourists was seated in front of a giant curtain attached to two lateral scaffolding built on Liberty Island in an enclosed viewing area, and Copperfield, with help by Jim Steinmeier and Don Wayne, raised the curtain before lowering it again a few seconds later to reveal that the space where the Statue of Liberty once stood was in that moment empty. A helicopter hovered overhead to give an aerial view of the illusion, and the statue appeared to have vanished, and only the circle of lights surrounding it was still present and visible. Before making the statue reappear, Copperfield explained in front of the camera why he wanted to perform this illusion. He wanted people to imagine what it would be like if there were no liberty or freedom in the world today, and what the world would be like without the freedoms and rights we enjoy. Copperfield then brought Lady Liberty back, ending the illusion by saying that our ancestors couldn't, we can, and our children will. Both the disappearance and the reappearance of the statue have been filmed in long take to demonstrate the absence of camera tricks. In 1996, in collaboration with Francis Ford Coppola, David Ives, and Eiko Shioka, Copperfield's Broadway show Dreams and Nightmares broke box office records in New York at the Martin Beck Theatre. Reviewer Greg Evans described the sold-out show in Variety magazine, with a likable, self-effacing demeanor that rarely comes across in his TV specials. Copperfield leads the audience through nearly 2 hours of truly mind-boggling illusions. He disappears and reappears, gets cut in half, makes audience members vanish and others levitate. Copperfield climaxes his show with a flying routine, 7 years in the making, that defies both logic and visual evidence. He could probably retire just by selling his secrets to future productions of Peter Pan. Also during 1996, Copperfield joined forces with Dean Koontz, Joyce Carol Oates, Ray Bradbury and others for David Copperfield's Tales of the Impossible, an anthology of original fiction set in the world of magic and illusion. A second volume was later published in 1997, called David Copperfield Beyond Imagination. In addition to the two books, David also wrote an essay as part of the I Believe series from NPR and the This I Believe, Inc. In May 2001. Copperfield entertained guests at a White House benefit for UNICEF by performing an illusion in which he sawed singer and actress Jennifer Lopez into 6 pieces. This illusion was an update of one he performed in one of his early TV specials on actress Catherine Bach. In 2002, he was the subject of an hour A&E television network biographical special on his life and career, aired on A&E's Biography channel. On May 7, 2009, Copperfield was dropped by Michael Jackson from Jackson's residency at the O2 Arena after an alleged disagreement over money. Copperfield wanted $1 million per show. Copperfield denied the reports of a falling out, saying, "Don't believe everything you read." News of Copperfield's collaboration with Jackson first surfaced on April 1, 2009, and has since been reported by several websites as a possible April Fool's prank. In August 2009, Copperfield took his show to Australia. In January 2011, David Copperfield joined the cast of the new feature film Burt Wonderstone with Steve Carell, Jim Carrey, James Gandolfini, and Olivia Wilde. Copperfield and his team also developed illusions used in the film. In July 2012, OWN TV network aired a 1-hour special, An Interview with Copperfield, as part of the network's Oprah's Next Chapter series. The show featured many aspects of Copperfield's personal life and family, with tours of his island home and Las Vegas Conjuring Museum, and a sampling of his illusions and magic effects. During the interview, he and his girlfriend Chloe Gosselin, a French fashion model, announced their engagement, and appeared together briefly with their young daughter strolling down the beach on the island. Copperfield notes that his role models growing up were not magicians, that my idols were Gene Kelly and Fred Astaire and Orson Welles and Walt Disney. They took their individual art forms and they moved people with them. I wanted to do the same thing with magic. I wanted to take magic and make it romantic, and make it sexy, and make it funny, and make it goofy. All the different things that a songwriter gets to express or a filmmaker gets to express. International Museum and Library of the Conjuring Arts. Copperfield owns the International Museum and Library of the Conjuring Arts, which houses the world's largest collection of historically significant magic memorabilia, books, and artifacts. Begun in 1991 when Copperfield purchased the Mulholland Library of Conjuring and the Allied Arts, which contained the world's largest collection of Houdini memorabilia. The museum comprises approximately 80,000 items of magic memorabilia, including Houdini's water torture cabinet and his metamorphosis trunk, the Orson Welles buzzsaw illusion and automata created by Robert Houdin. The museum is not open to the public. Tours are reserved for colleagues, fellow magicians, and serious collectors. Located in a warehouse at Copperfield's headquarters in Las Vegas, the museum is entered via a secret door in what was described by actor Hugh Jackman as a sex shop, and by Forbes as a mail-order lingerie warehouse. It doesn't need to be secret. It needs to be respected, he said. If a scholar or journalist needs a piece of magic history, it's there. Musha Cay and the islands of Copperfield Bay. In 2006, Copperfield bought 11 Bahamian islands called Musha Cay, renamed the Islands of Copperfield Bay. The islands are a private resort. Guests have reportedly included Oprah Winfrey and John Travolta, and Google co-founder Sergey Brin was married there. Copperfield has stated that the islands may contain the Fountain of Youth, a claim which resulted in him receiving a dubious achievement award from Esquire magazine in 2006. Magic Underground restaurant. David Copperfield's Magic Underground was planned to be a restaurant based on Copperfield's magic. At Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, there was a sign on Hollywood Boulevard during the late 90s indicating the restaurant was coming soon. Signs were also located around Pleasure Island and signs outside Disney MGM Studios. A Magic Underground restaurant was also going to open in New York's Times Square. Plans also included eventual expansion into Disneyland in Anaheim, California, as well as Paris and Tokyo. The restaurants were to have magic props and other items on the walls of the restaurants, while magicians would go around to tables doing sleight of hand tricks. There was also to be a larger stage for larger stunts. The restaurant in Times Square was 85% completed, but amid disputes between the creative team and the financial team and enormous cost overruns, finances dried up from the investors. The project was cancelled, and Disney cancelled the lease. Copperfield was not an investor in the project. The investors reportedly lost $34 million on the project, and subcontractors placed $15 million in liens. Recorded message for expanded gambling in Maryland. In October 2012, Maryland residents received a robocall from Copperfield, supporting a Maryland ballot initiative that would expand gambling in the state. Accidents and injuries. On March 11, 1984, while rehearsing an illusion called Escape from Death, where he was shackled and handcuffed in a tank of water, Copperfield became tangled in the chains and started taking in water and banging into the sides of the tank. He was pulled from the water after 1 minute 20 seconds, hyperventilating and in shock, and taken to a Burbank hospital, and found to have pulled tendons in arms and legs. He was in a wheelchair for a week and used a cane for a period thereafter. Doing a rope trick, Copperfield accidentally cut off the tip of his finger with sharp scissors. He was rushed to the hospital and the fingertip was reattached. On December 17, 2008, during a live performance in Las Vegas, one of Copperfield's assistants named Brandon, 26, was sucked into the spinning blades of a 12-feet-high industrial fan that Copperfield walks through. The assistant sustained multiple fractures to his arm, severe bleeding, and facial lacerations that required stitching. Copperfield cancelled the rest of the performance and offered the audience members refunds. Litigation. On July 11, 1994, Copperfield sued magician and author Herbert L. Becker in order to prevent publication of Becker's book, which reveals how magicians perform their illusions. Becker won the lawsuit. However, the book was published without exposing any of Copperfield's secrets, because of a secrecy agreement Becker had signed with Copperfield, and an independent finding that Becker's description of Copperfield's methods was inaccurate. The publisher removed the section on Copperfield from the book before publication. In 1997, Becker sued Copperfield and Lifetime Books for $50 million for causing breach of contract between himself and Lifetime Books, the publisher of his book All the Secrets of Magic Revealed. Becker won this lawsuit when Copperfield settled at the last moment and the publisher lost during the court trial. In 1997, Copperfield and Claudia Schiffer sued Paris Match for US $30 million after the magazine claimed their relationship was a sham, that Schiffer was paid for pretending to be Copperfield's fiancée, and that she didn't even like him. In 1999, they won an undisclosed sum and a retraction from Paris Match. Herbert L. Becker, whom Copperfield asked to give testimony regarding the validity of the relationship, gave convincing testimony that the relationship was real. Copperfield's publicist confirmed that while Schiffer had a contract to appear in the audience at Copperfield's show in Berlin where they met, she was not under contract to be his consort. On August 25, 2000, Copperfield unsuccessfully sued Fireman's Fund Insurance Company for reimbursement of a $506,343 ransom paid to individuals in Russia who had commandeered the entertainer's equipment there. In 2004, John Melk, co-founder of Blockbuster Inc. and previous owner of Musha K., sued Copperfield for fraud after Copperfield's purchase of the island chain, alleging that Copperfield had deliberately obscured his identity during the purchase and that he would not have sold the island to Copperfield. Copperfield claimed that Melk had agreed to sell the property to Copperfield's Imagination Company, and that Copperfield negotiated the deal through a third party because he feared Melk was seeking to exploit Copperfield's celebrity status by demanding an unrealistic price. The case was settled in 2006. The terms of the settlement are undisclosed. On November 6, 2007, Viva Art International Limited and Maz Concerts Inc. sued Copperfield for nearly $2.2 million for breach of contract, and the Indonesian promoter of David Copperfield's cancelled shows in Jakarta held on to $550,000 worth of Copperfield's equipment in lieu of money paid to Copperfield that had not been returned. Copperfield countersued. The dispute was resolved in July 2009. Copperfield was accused of sexual assault in 2007 by Lacey L. Carroll. A federal grand jury in Seattle closed the investigation in January 2010 without bringing charges against Copperfield. In January 2010, the Bellevue City Prosecutor's Office brought misdemeanor charges against Carroll for prostitution and allegedly making a false accusation of rape in another case. Carroll filed a civil lawsuit against Copperfield, which was dropped in April 2010. Personal life. In 1993, at a Berlin celebrity gala, Copperfield met German supermodel Claudia Schiffer when he brought her on stage to participate in a mind-reading act in his flying illusion, and in January 1994 they became engaged. During this engagement, Schiffer sometimes appeared on stage with Copperfield to act as his special guest assistant in illusions, including being sawn in half. She also appeared alongside Copperfield in David Copperfield, 15 Years of Magic, a documentary in which she played the role of a reporter interviewing him, and at the end of which they reprised their performance of the flying illusion. After a nearly 6-year engagement, in September 1999 they announced their separation, citing work schedules. In April 2006, he and two female assistants were robbed at gunpoint after a performance in West Palm Beach, Florida. His assistants handed over their money, passports, and a cell phone. According to his police statement, Copperfield did not hand over anything, claiming that he used sleight of hand to hide his possessions. One of the assistants wrote down most of the license plate number, and the suspects were later arrested, charged, and sentenced. Copperfield and his girlfriend Chloe Gosselin, a French fashion model who is 28 years his junior, had a daughter named Sky in February 2010. The news did not break publicly until over a year later, when the New York Post reported it in August 2011, and it was confirmed by Copperfield's publicist. Earnings. Forbes magazine reported that Copperfield earned $55 million in 2003, making him the 10th highest-paid celebrity in the world. He earned $57 million in 2004 and 2005, and $30 million in 2009 in entertainment earnings, according to Forbes. Copperfield performs over 500 shows per year throughout the world. Charitable activities. Project Magic. In March 1982, Copperfield founded Project Magic, a rehabilitation program to help disabled patients regain lost or damaged dexterity skills by using sleight-of-hand magic as a method of physical therapy. The program has been accredited by the American Occupational Therapy Association, and is in use in over 1,100 hospitals throughout 30 countries worldwide. Copperfield made an appearance on Oprah Radio in April 2008 to talk with Oprah Radio host Drive Mehmet Oz about how the use of magic can help disabled people. In 2007, he organized and performed at a charity show for UNICEF in Los Angeles, along with a number of celebrity guests. During the show, he used his ex-Orson Welles buzzsaw illusion to saw British TV presenter Cat Deeley in half. Achievements and awards. The Society of American Magicians, Magician of the Century, and King of Magic. Nominated 38 times for Emmy Awards and has won 21 times. Received a Living Legend Award from the Library of Congress. First living magician to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Recognized by the French government, receiving the Chevalier of Arts and Letters, the first one ever awarded to a magician. Named Magician of the Year in 1979 and 1986 by the Academy of Magical Arts. Forbes's The Celebrity 100 for 2009 ranks Copperfield as the 80th most powerful celebrity, with earnings of $30 million. Topped The Onion's annual list of the world's most powerful people, 2013. Inducted into New York City's Ride of Fame on September 11, 2015. Guinness World Records. Copperfield holds 11 Guinness World Records, including earnings and attendance records, and largest stage illusions.